Hi everyone, Eric Goins here from Automate Intelligently. Today I want to talk about what is no code, what is the no code revolution, and what are no code tools, why do they matter, how do you use them, and just to kind of give you a good example, an overview of how this entire space works and why it's important to you. First, what is no code? So there's been this enormous movement in the IT technology space about building software so that non developers, non technical people, teams, employees can build their own IT solutions, whether that be a website, a mobile application, data flow, almost anything now can be built using a drag and drop interface that allows anyone, whether you're in HR and finance and sales, to build a solution. So let's think about this for a second. 99.9% of the world does not have a computer science degree, any development skills, or maybe even any IT skills in general. This is about democratizing their ability to participate in the internet community, build solutions, and then deploy those to basically internally in a company or to their customers, or maybe it's just to themselves or their friends and family. So let's look at a use case for this. Let's say you work at a major company in the HR department, and every day different employees email you and ask for contact information for their colleagues. For instance, hey, I need John's email address, or I need Mary's phone number, I need this person's office address, information like that. Now it's quite simple. You can reply, you can look it up in your internal system and send it to everyone else. But maybe you could solve this problem if you had an employee directory that everyone had access to. I'm sure there's a lot of small businesses that don't have an employee directory because it doesn't make sense. You don't have that many employees, and maybe your employees don't have access to an internal email system. So they might be hourly employees, but maybe they want to find other people to cover their shift, or connect with people outside of work. And having people's phone numbers would be useful for that. Now, if you traditionally were going to solve this problem, you might hire an external vendor to build this solution, or you might go through your own internal IT department to do it. But as we all know, if you've ever done something like that, it's very expensive and time consuming to do this. Very rarely do you get IT involved internally or externally and have a very fast and simple solution developed. Not to mention, unless this is probably not the core of your business, so it's probably not a highly prioritized task, even though it benefits the HR department and it would save your employees time from going back and forth trying to find this information. So if your employees had access to something like Idea Scout or had been trained in no-code tools, they would know, hey, this is something that we can develop ourselves. So I know off the top of my head a few no-code tools. Probably the best one for this example would be Glide Apps, where you could develop an internal directory, more or less for free, in less than a few hours. And that would be for somebody who has no experience in developing. In fact, if you were to go to Glide Apps, they already have a template for this that exists that you could use for free, and you could deploy this very quickly. And the back end of this, where all the information is stored, is a Google Sheet. So it's really friendly for anyone in the organization to update and maintain that information. And then it's free to distribute that to as many people in the organization as you would want to. Let's look at an example of 3 different no-code tools. Okay, I'll move myself over here. The first one is the one I just mentioned. It's called Glide Apps. This is a very simple program. I think it's almost the introductory program to no-code. And you start with a Google Sheet, and then connecting that to the Glide Apps account, you have created a mobile application. From there, you drag and drop information into Glide Apps through a visual interface without writing any code to edit your mobile app. It is very, very simple and easy. Now, let's look at the second one, Zapier. This one's not as famous, I think, even though what they have done is very incredible. Zapier has taken over 2,000 different applications and created dozens of ways for each of them to be connected and to exchange information and automate tasks. So for instance, if you have a Glide app that uses a Google Sheet, anytime somebody creates something in that Glide app, using Zapier, you could connect that to Gmail or to Microsoft Outlook or to print a document maybe, or to generate an invoice, or to send a text message to a shipping warehouse. There's almost infinite things here. They truly do say that they can automate millions of actions, and that is one of the most useful back-end tools that exists in the no-code space. The last one I'll talk about is Adalo. Adalo is another drag-and-drop application builder that will build true mobile applications that can be in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, as well as web applications. This is a very deep and thorough application that helps you build more complex things than what you could build in Glide. And one of the points here I'll make is some of these are lighter in terms of what you can do, and as such they're probably easier to learn. And then some of these are very complex to learn and take a significant amount of time, but what you can do is truly remarkable, and it's more in line with building a custom application than what you might think for a no-code tool. Looking at the no-code ecosystem, just to give you an idea, this is a high-level overview of some of the different things you have. But right now, there's over 230 different no-code tools. It is a very large space with a wide variety of information and tools that exist, but it's very well established within the no-code world, and most of these I would say people don't use, but they're available, and they're available in different levels in terms of how well they're developed and the different things that each of these programs can do. Okay, so how can you get started on no code? What is the next steps? So in the appendix of this presentation, there's some additional reading and sources. I'd really recommend that you take a quick look at those, because they'll give you more information than what we're going to share in this video in terms of what is no code, how does it democratize IT for people who are not technical, and what should you be doing with it, and how do you use it. I recommend that you find a personal problem that you think is interesting that you want to solve. It's difficult to build a solution, especially an IT solution, that you don't care about. So think about maybe a personal application like a fitness plan, a task tracker, a note-taking application, something simple that you would use in your everyday life, and then go find the right no-code tool to use to build that solution. And then start building. Once you have something in mind, you will find it's very easy to get into the space, identify new things to use and how to use them, and it's very easy to pick up the skills. I'll show you very quickly the additional reading. I really recommend an article by Ryan Hoover about the first website he built in the rise of no-code. The no-code ebook by Webflow is probably the most authoritative, easy reading on the no-code revolution. And then the last two are just articles from TechCrunch, and there's a lot of other information if you go search on Google News. And of course, if you have any questions, just ask us. Thanks.